So let's get right into it. 10-year rebuild, the Anaheim Ducks. I'm taking over as GM, and I'm going to turn this team into Stanley Cup champs. So the first thing I'm doing as GM is extending Hampus Lindholm to a 6-year deal worth $6 million per year. Then I'm going to sign Josh Manson to a 5-year deal worth $4.3 million per year. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate 10 games into the season, and honestly, these first 2 years aren't that important because we're building for the future here. And good thing this season doesn't really count, because we're starting the season off 1-9. Definitely wasn't what I was aiming for. Over the next 15, things weren't any better as the team went 2-8-5, and we're currently sitting at a 3-17-5 record. Through 50 games, this team's still looking terrible. 12-30-8. We're 8th in the Pacific and 32nd in the entire league. Yeah, that's a tough one. Zegras is currently leading the team in points with 18 goals and 15 assists for 33 points. Rickard Rakell is coming in second with 9 goals and 24 helpers for 33 points. And Troy Terry is going to round out the top 3 with 14 goals and 15 assists for 29 points. Currently leading the defense is Hampus Lindholm with 2 goals and 19 assists for 21 points. And John Gibson, he's picked up 11 wins so far with an .897 save percentage and a .310 goals against. Honestly, I was expecting worse. So we're going to be sellers at the trade deadline. That should be no surprise, but let's see how we do over the next 13. So things over the next 13 definitely could have been worse. We won 2 games. We could have won 0, so I'll take 2. So it's time to sell the farm. Cam Fowler, I'm sending you to Columbus for 2/3 and Max Domi. Shattenkirk, I'm going to send you to Boston for a 2nd and a 3rd. And Henrique, I'm going to send you to Arizona for a 4th, and Louis Eriksson. Now this was a terrible trade on my behalf because I probably could have gotten 2 second-rounders for taking on Louis Eriksson's contract. So I don't know what I was doing here. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the end of the season, and best case scenario, we finished dead last. I want Shane Wright on this team. So we did exactly what I was hoping for. We finished 8th in the Pacific and 32nd in the entire league with a 20-53-9 record. Zegras led the team in points with 23 goals and 30 assists for 53 points. Rickard Rakell came in second with 17 goals and 35 assists for 52 points. And Troy Terry rounded out the top 3 with 20 goals and 24 assists for 44 points. Hampus Lindholm led all of our defensemen with 5 goals and 25 assists for 30 points. And Gibson picked up 16 wins with an .896 save percentage and a .330 goals against. Leading the entire league in points is Nikita Kucherov with 47 goals and 51 helpers for 93 points. Nathan MacKinnon's coming in second with 41 goals and 57 assists for 98 points. And rounding out the top 3, also with 98 points, is William Nylander with 30 goals and 68 assists. Drew Doughty's going to lead all defensemen in points with 14 goals and 55 assists for 69 points, and Freddie Anderson's picking up 40 wins with a .905 save percentage and a 3.01 goals against. Of course, with this team finishing dead last in the league, we're not going to be making the playoffs, but Toronto, they're going to go on to win the Stanley Cup over the Chicago Blackhawks. Looking at the draft lottery results, Washington's going to jump to number 1, and we're dropping to number 2. That's a tough one. And in the draft, we're going to have 10 picks. But the second overall pick, I'm going to be taking Zach Sierra. This guy's got medium elite potential, and he's going to be a dominant force for us in the future. Another notable prospect was Nathan Gaucher, who has medium elite potential. And then I traded a prospect for the 51st pick, and then I traded a future second rounder and the 89th pick for the 50th. With the 50th pick, I selected McKinnon. He's got medium elite potential, and he's going to be a future star goalie for this team. I'm also going to be drafting another player with medium elite potential, another player with low elite potential, and then another low elite potential player. So I would say this was a pretty solid draft for us. Entering the Resign Phase, I signed all of the important rookies and qualified all the RFAs. I don't need to bore you with all that stuff. But then we entered free agency, and I'm going to try to do this in one take. Lundstrom, you're going to get $900K for 1 year. DeSmith, you're going to get $1.2 million per year for 2 years. Scott, you're going to get $900K for 2 years. Ilya Mikheyev, you're going to get $1.8 million per year for 3 years. Grimaldi, you're going to get $1.6 million per year for 2 years. Rickard Rakell, you're going to get $5.5 million per year for 5 years. Ryan Strome, you're going to get $5.1 million per year for 5 years. Evgeny Malkin's getting $8 million per year for 1 year. Sam Steele's getting $2.3 million per year for 3 years. DeBrusk's getting $2.1 million per year for 3 years. Goulie's going to get $3.5 million per year for 4 years. Larson's getting $2.3 million per year for 3 years. Mahura's getting $1.9 million per year for 2 years. Pavelski's getting $6.7 million per year for 1 year. Palat's getting $5.7 million per year for 2 years. And Andre Kasha's getting $4.9 million per year for 6 years. Yeah, I did pretty good there. No, I'm just capping. I probably screwed that up like 8 different times. So looking at the team, the forward core is slowly starting to develop. The future's looking pretty bright. Our defense, we got some good young pieces here, so I have faith in them in the future. And Gibson, I think you can look after this team for the next 2 years. But after that, I don't know what role you're going to hold for this team. So before the season starts, we got to extend some contracts. Drysdale's going to get $4.8 million per year for 8 years, and Zegras is going to get $7.7 million per year for 6 years, and Maxime Comtois is going to get $2.2 million per year for the next 4 years. Now it's time to simulate through the first 10 games. It's basically impossible for us to do worse than last year. The only way for us to do worse is to go 0-10, and I don't think that's going to happen. The Ducks look fantastic through the first 10 games as they went 7-3-0. Over the next 15 though, they wouldn't do quite as well, going 6-7-2, so they're currently sitting at a 13-10-2 record. Through 50 games, this team's looking pretty solid with a 27-20-3 record. We're second in the Pacific and 9th in the entire league. That was a pretty quick turnaround if I do say so myself. Evgeny Malkin's currently leading the team with 22 goals and 31 assists for 53 points. Joe Pavelski's picking up 19 goals and 30 helpers for 49 points, and Trevor Zegras is going to round out the top 3 with 14 goals and 30 assists for 44 points. Hampus Lindholm's currently leading the defense with 5 goals and 13 assists for 18 points, and John Gibson, he's picked up 23 wins with a 908 save percentage and a 280 goals against. It's a difficult time swimming into the trade deadline because I don't think this team can win yet, but I don't think we're sellers, so we're right in the middle. Over the next 15, we went 7-4-4, so that basically can confirm that we can't win now, but the future's bright. So I'm going to make a few trades. John Gibson, you've been fantastic for us, but I like Samsonov for the future, so I'm going to pick up Samsonov, Mantha, 2/3 and a 4th. Realistically, this move is strictly for the future, and since Samsonov's an RFA and he doesn't have a deal done right now, he's not even going to play for us this season. Evgeny Malkin, you're not in the plans for this team, but Kevin Fiala might be, so I'm going to trade you to the Rangers for him. And then Troy Terry, I'm going to send you to Buffalo for a 2nd and a 4th, because realistically, I don't want to pay you $6 million a year. And Silverberg, you've been great for the team, but I'm going to ship you off to Seattle for McCann in a 7th. And to finish off the trade deadline, I'm going to extend Lunderstrom 5 years for $2.6 million per year. So now it's time to simulate to the end of the season, and honestly, if we don't make the playoffs, it's not the end of the world. So this team did much better than I expected. They finished with a 44-29-9 record. We're 2nd in the Pacific and 12th in the entire league. Joe Pavelski led the team in points with 29 goals and 49 helpers for 78 points. Zegras is coming in 2nd with 27 goals and 44 helpers for 71 points, and Rickard Rakell's rounding out the top 3 with 20 goals and 43 assists for 63 points. Lindholm's leading the defense once again with 13 goals and 25 helpers for 38 points, while the Smiths picking up 12 wins with a 905 save percentage and a 279 goals against. McDavid led the entire league in points with 44 goals and 60 assists for 104 points. Matthews is coming in not too far behind with 53 goals and 44 assists for 97 points, and Ovi was incredible. 62 goals, 34 assists for 96 points. Quinn Hughes is going to lead all defensemen with 10 goals and 59 helpers for 69 points, and Carter Hart's going to pick up 44 wins with a 919 save percentage and a 243 goals against. With the Ducks making the playoffs, they're going to be taking on the Calgary Flames in the first round. Calgary's going to have a dominant performance in game 1 as they're shutting the Ducks out 5-1, but the Ducks would bounce back with a shutout of their own in game 2. In order to get ahead in game 3, we need somebody to step up, and that's exactly what Reinstrom did with an OT winner. Rickard Rakell also wanted an OT winner, so he's going to pick one up for himself in game 4. With Calgary on the brink of elimination, they're going to avoid it in game 5 with a 4-3 win. But in game 6, with 12 seconds left, Joe Pavelski's going to score and win the series, and now we're on to round 2. And in round 2, we're going to be taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. Game 1's going to be a tight one, but Vegas is coming out on top in a 2-1 win. 4 straight Vegas goals is going to help put them up 2-0, and in game 3, Vegas is going to win another tight one, which puts us 1 game away from elimination. And in game 4, Vegas is going to complete the sweep with a 4-2 win. When the playoffs came to an end, the Pittsburgh Penguins are coming out on top over Vegas in a sweep. Looking at the draft lottery results, Detroit's going to jump from 7-1, and now they have the chance to draft Connor Bedard. We had 6 picks in the upcoming draft, but our best player ended up being a medium top 9 potential forward. It really wasn't that great of a draft for us. So since it wasn't a great draft, I'd trade the 116th overall pick and the 148th overall pick to Calgary for a future 3rd. Entering the Resign Phase, we got a few guys I want to keep around. Fiala, 6 years at $7 million per year, and Samsonov, 7 years at $5.2 million per year. Of course, I'm going to sign all the important rookies, and then I'm going to send Mantha to the Devils for a 5th and a 6th. I just want to get his contract off the books. In free agency, there isn't a lot of signings we need to do, but I want to bring Matt Dumba in on a 4-year deal worth $5.7 million per year, and Getzlaf, I want to get you another cup, so $1.9 million per year for 1 year. So heading into year 3, the forward core is looking even stronger. We just need someone to emerge as a superstar. The defense is looking great, and my expectations for Samsonov are incredibly high. I also want to mention I signed Getzlaf, and I didn't even put him in the lineup. He couldn't even crack this lineup. That's tough. Now I'm going to simulate 10 games into the season, and at this point, anything below 500 through the first 10 games is an absolute disappointment. Well, I guess you could say we weren't below 500 because we are 5-4-1. but I'm expecting more from this team. Over the next 15, things weren't much better as we went 7-7-1, so we're currently sitting at a 12-11-2 record. I need to make some moves here, and Evander Kane, he's a free agent. 1 year, $3.3 million. I need you to help turn this team around. So through the first 50, I don't know what's going on with this team. We have a 25-20-5 record. We're 7th in the Pacific and 16th in the league. We have the talent. I don't know what's going wrong. Zegras is currently leading the team with 16 goals and 32 helpers for 48 points. Sierra is coming in second with 23 goals and 17 assists for 40 points. And Strom's rounding out the top 3 with 10 goals and 24 helpers for 34 points. Lindholm continues to lead the defense in points with 4 goals and 16 assists for 20 points. And Samsonov, 17 wins, a 907 save percentage, and a 275 goals against. So now I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the trade deadline. And honestly, I don't think we can win this season. So I think it's time to build for next season. And then once we hit the 4-year mark, then we got to start winning cups. So over the next 12 games, this team did much better than I expected as they went 8-1-3. But entering the trade deadline, I know something has to be done. So Platt, I'm going to send you to Carolina for a 4th and a 5th. That's going to be the only trade, and now it's time to simulate to the end of the season. So Anaheim was able to turn their season around, and they finished with a 43-28-11 record. They made the playoffs, being 4th in the Pacific, and they're 11th in the entire league. Trevor Zegras led the team with 26 goals and 49 helpers for 77 points. Sierra's coming in second with 31 goals and 33 assists for 64 points, and Strom's rounding out the top 3 with 17 goals and 44 helpers for 61 points. Matt Dumba's going to lead all defensemen in points with 6 goals and 34 assists for 40 points, and Samsonov's picking up 31 wins with a 910 save percentage and a 263 goals against. McDavid's going to lead the entire league in points with 62 goals and 65 assists for 127 points. Draisaitl's coming in second with 40 goals and 73 assists for 113 points, and Elias Lindholm's going to round out the top 3 with 30 goals and 71 helpers for 101 points. And Tyson Barrie's going to lead all defensemen in points with 8 goals and 66 helpers for 74 points. Jacob Markstrom's leading all goaltenders in wins with 49 wins and a 914 save percentage and a 264 goals against. Entering the playoffs, the Anaheim Ducks are going to be taking on the Colorado Avalanche in round 1. Anaheim's going to be saved by 3 third-period goals, which is going to allow us to take Game 1. Game 2 is going to be a similar situation as back-to-back third-period goals are going to help us take Game 2. Game 3 is going to be the opposite, and Colorado's having the dominant third period. Zegras is going to pot 2 in Game 4, which is pushing Colorado to the brink of elimination. But the Avalanche are going to avoid elimination in Game 5 from a lone goal from Rantanen. But in Game 6, the Ducks want to close the series out, and that's what they're doing in a 5-2 win. In the second round, we're going to be taking on the Nashville Predators. The Ducks are taking Game 1 3-1, but the Preds are bouncing back, and they're taking Game 2 3-2. The Ducks are going to win Game 3 after having a 3-0 lead through 2 periods, and in Game 4, the Ducks are putting Nashville on the brink of elimination with 3 huge first period goals. And to finish out the series, Samsonov's going to pick out a shutout, and we're on to the conference finals. So here we are, the Western Conference Finals, and the Anaheim Ducks are taking on the Edmonton Oilers. The Ducks are going to dominate Game 1 with a 6-2 win, but an OT winner from Zach Hyman in Game 2 is going to even the series up. Anaheim's going to fight back, and they're going to pot 3 goals in the third period, which is going to help them win Game 3, but the Oilers are bouncing back themselves, and they're taking Game 4. In Game 5, Evander Kane's going to score an OT winner against his former team to put them on the brink of elimination. And once again, in Game 6, Evander Kane's going to score a late goal, and we're off to the Stanley Cup Final. So here we are, the Stanley Cup Final, the Anaheim Ducks versus the Washington Capitals, and this is Samsonov versus John Gibson. 4 unanswered goals for Anaheim is going to allow us to take Game 1, and we're going to continue rolling as we're taking Game 2 6-4. An OT winner from Ryan Strome is going to put the Caps on the brink of elimination, and a dominant Game 4 is going to complete the sweep, and the Ducks are Stanley Cup champions. And just like that, we've won our first Stanley Cup in year 3. Hopefully this is the first of many, and I definitely didn't expect to get one this early. Zegras, you were great for us, picking up 20 points in the playoffs, consisting of 7 goals and 13 assists. And Samsonov, of course, 16 wins, a 921 save percentage, at 234 goals against. If you keep playing like that, you're going to be untouchable. Looking at the draft lottery results, Dallas is going to jump from 5-1. And we had a lot more picks in this draft than I thought. We had 16 of them. But Linden was our best prospect who had low elite potential. I'm going to keep it a stack. This was a very weak draft class. Entering the Resign Phase, I'm going to sign all the important rookies and then qualify all of our important RFAs. Entering free agency, I'm going to make a massive move. Sebastian Aho, $12 million per year for the next 7 years. This is going to be a massive improvement to the team. Or it would have been. but he decided we weren't good enough and he went to Seattle. So we're going to have to settle with Evander Kane for $5.8 million per year for 1 year, and then Phil the Thrill for $5 million per year for 1 year. Outside of those two signings, we didn't really do anything. Looking at the forward depth on this team, it's looking fantastic, and Zegras is emerging as our superstar. The defense is still looking great, and Samsonov, I just need you to keep doing your thing. But we are going to make two massive trades with the Sharks. I'm going to trade Gonchar, a first, and Phil the Thrill Kessel for Jiricek, and then Falk and Dumba for Pekka Räinen. Pekka Räinen's going to start on our third line here, but I know over the years he's going to move up to second line and maybe even first. While Jiricek, he's going to be our new first line right defenseman. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate through the first 10 games, but keep in mind, this team usually struggles in the first 10, and we did struggle as we went 3-4-3. Over the next 15, things weren't much better as we went 8-7, and we're currently sitting at an 11-11-3 record. Samsonov, you haven't been great, and I don't have any attachment to you, so Samsonov straight up for Kosa. He's slightly younger, a similar overall, plus I can get him cheaper when I re-sign him. We need to shake up this team, and I think this is the move we gotta make. So at the 50 game mark, this team's looking pretty solid, a 27-17-6 record. We're second in the Pacific and 10th in the entire league. Zegras is currently leading the team with 25 goals and 18 assists for 43 points. Rickard Rakell's coming in second with 8 goals and 35 assists for 43 points, and Sierra is rounding out the top 3 with 15 goals and 26 assists for 41 points. Drysdale's leading all defensemen with 5 goals and 22 assists for 27 points, and since being acquired, Kosa's picked up 12 wins with a .901 save percentage and a .272 goals against. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the trade deadline, and we're going to make some moves. Over the next 10 games, we went 6-2-2, and I know we can do better, so we got to make some moves. So Andre Kasha, I'm going to ship you over to Arizona for Nichushkin and a fourth. That's going to be the only move I'm making, and now we're going to simulate to the end of the season. After the trade deadline, Anaheim looked amazing. They finished with a 45-26-11 record. We're first in the Pacific and fourth in the entire league. Zegras led the team in points with 35 goals and 34 assists for 69 points. Sierra's coming in second with 25 goals and 40 assists for 65 points, and Pekka Räinen, he's going to round out the top 3 with 34 goals and 26 assists for 60 points. Drysdale's leading the defenseman with 9 goals and 31 helpers for 40 points, while Kosa's picking up 29 wins with a .910 save percentage and a .255 goals against. So DeBrincat's going to lead the entire league in points with 55 goals and 50 assists for 105 points. McKinnon's coming in second with 53 goals and 47 assists for 100 points, and Rantanen's rounding out the top 3 with 40 goals and 60 assists for 100 points. Aaron Ekblad's going to lead all defensemen in points with 16 goals and 51 assists for 67 points, and Varlamov's going to lead all goaltenders in wins with 42 while picking up a .907 save percentage and a .289 goals against. In the first round, we're going to be taking on the Dallas Stars. It was a dominant game 1 for the Ducks as they're coming out on top in a 9-4 win. The momentum continued into game 2 with a 4-goal game from Pekka Räinen. Dallas would avoid falling to a 3-0 deficit though with a 2-1 win, but Kosa would carry in game 4 as he's picking up a 23 save shutout. And Rickard Rakell is going to close out the series with an OT winner in game 5. Heading into the second round, we're going to be taking on the Edmonton Oilers. The Ducks are coming out hot in game 1, finishing with a 3-1 win, but McDavid's going to even up the series with an OT winner. And former Duck Adam Henrique's going to pick up a hat trick, which is giving the Oilers a 2-1 lead. Malcolm Subban's going to make 34 saves in game 4, which is pushing Anaheim to the brink of elimination. And in game 5, the Ducks offense is going to disappear while Subban's going to pick up a series clinching shutout. The Avs would go on to win the Stanley Cup, but we're going to be back soon. Trust me on that. Leading the entire team in points was Evander Kane with 5 goals and 6 assists for 11 points. Looking at the draft lottery results, Washington's going to jump from 3-1 and they're going to win the lottery. Keep in mind, this is the team we faced in the Cup Final just 1 season ago. They completely fell off. So the Ducks had 6 picks in the draft, and our best prospect ended up being a low top 4 potential defenseman. So like usual, in the re-sign phase, we're going to sign all the important rookies and qualify all the RFAs. Now we got to get on to extensions. Larson, you're going to get $2.6 million per year for 4 years. Jiricek, $11.25 million per year for 7 years. Pekka Räinen's getting $9.5 million per year for 7 years. And McTavish, he's going to get $7.5 million per year for 6 years. In free agency, there's going to be 2 main signings, which is Robbie Fabry for $2.6 million per year for 2 years, and Burakovsky for $1.4 million per year for 2 years. And then I'm going to re-sign Sam Steele $3 million per year for 2 years. And now I'm going to make a trade here. So Kevin Fiala, he hasn't been living up to expectations, so I'm going to ship him over to Detroit for a second and a fourth. And I am going to make one more extension, which is going to be Sierra for $11 million per year for 7 years. and our final free agent signing is going to be Frost for $700K for 1 year. So looking at this team, our forward depth is even better. The lowest overall we have for our forwards is an 82, so I'm expecting big things. Our defense looks strong here, and we still have a lot of players improving. And Kosa, I got big expectations for you this season, so I'm going to go ahead and simulate through the first 10 games, and we already know what's going to happen. We're going to underperform. And in the first 10, we're 5-5. That shouldn't be too much of a surprise, but over the next 15, we were much better. 9-4-2, so we're currently sitting at a 14-9-2 record. So I thought it was time to shake things up. We've looked okay, but I know we can play better. So I'm going to be sending Ryan Strome, a second and a fourth to Montreal for Nick Suzuki. This move was way more important than I actually thought it was, because over the next 25 games, we went 17-5-3. So we're currently sitting at a 31-14-5 record. We're first in the Pacific and second in the entire league. Zegras is currently leading the team with 19 goals and 34 assists for 53 points. Sear is coming in second with 20 goals and 30 assists for 50 points. And McTavish is rounding out the top three with 19 goals and 23 assists for 42 points. Drysdale's leading the defense with 10 goals and 30 assists for 40 points. And Kosa's picking up 25 wins with a .901 save percentage and a .282 goals against. Simming into the trade deadline, I definitely think this team could go for a championship because we're looking elite right now. And over the next 14 games, we look great. 10-1-3, and it's time to make a massive move. I'm going to be sending our first rounder, a second rounder, a fourth, and a fifth to the Rangers for Artemi Panarin. This is going to make our first line elite, and we just got even better. There's nothing else I need to say about that. When the season came to an end, we finished 51-21-10. We're first in the Pacific and first in the entire league. Sear is currently leading the team with 29 goals and 49 assists for 78 points. Zegras is coming in second with 26 goals and 48 helpers for 74 points. And McTavish is going to round out the top three with 29 goals and 43 helpers for 72 points. Drysdale's going to lead all defensemen once again with 17 goals and 43 assists for 60 points, and Kosa's picking up 41 wins with a .911 save percentage and a .259 goals against. DeBrincat's going to lead the entire league in points with 42 goals and 51 assists for 93 points. Marchand's coming in second with 50 goals and 41 helpers for 91 points, and Nathan MacKinnon's going to round out the top three with 91 points as well, consisting of 48 goals and 43 assists. Adam Fox is leading all defensemen in points with 13 goals and 66 assists for 79 points. And Kosa, he's leading all goaltenders in wins with 41. So heading into the playoffs, we're going to be taking on the Arizona Coyotes in the first round. So the Ducks are going to take game 1 4-3, but that was way too close. We need to dominate the Coyotes, and that's what we're doing in game 2 with a 7-1 win. The young guns in Arizona are going to allow them to take game 3, but a third period hat trick from Zegras is going to put us one game away from the second round, but Pasternak's going to help Arizona avoid that. Yeah, you heard me right. David Pastrnak scoring the OT winner for the Arizona Coyotes. I'm sorry you're in Arizona, my guy. But in game 6, Frost's lone goal is going to push us to the second round. In the second round, we're going to be matching up against the Calgary Flames. The Flames are coming out hot in game 1, winning 5-3, but a 3-goal second period was enough for Anaheim to even the series. Game 3 was all Ducks in a 5-1 win, but Calgary's bouncing back with a Jacob Markstrom shutout to even the series at 2 games each. A 4-goal third period puts Calgary on the brink of elimination, and a third period goal from Gooley is going to decide the series, and the Ducks are off to the conference finals. In the conference finals, we're going to be matching up against the Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars are taking a close game 1, 3-2, but in game 2, a 3-0 lead for Anaheim would be too much to overcome, and they even the series with Dallas. Game 3 would be a heartbreaker as the Dallas Stars are going to score with seconds left to take a 2-1 series lead. Dallas would build on that momentum and win game 4 and put themselves one game away from the Stanley Cup. And then in game 5, 3 unanswered would be the end for the Ducks and they're eliminated. But in the Stanley Cup Final, Dallas would end up losing to Buffalo. Leading the team in points in the playoffs was Sierra with 7 goals and 4 assists for 11 points. Looking at the draft lottery results, the Sharks are going to jump from 2-1. After trading our first round pick earlier in the season, we only have 6 picks heading into this draft. Some of the notable rookies we got was a medium elite potential goalie, a low elite potential center, and a low elite potential defenseman. So like usual in the resign phase, we're re-signing all the important draft picks and qualifying all the important RFAs. So now it's time to re-sign our core players. Rickard Rakell, I'm going to give you $6.3 million per year for 3 years. Ledeen, you're going to get $1 million per year for the next 3. Hossa, you're going to get $8 million per year for the next 5 years. Linden, you're going to get $1 million per year for 2 years. And Makinen, you're going to get $1 million per year for 2 years as well. So I wasn't able to re-sign Frost because he didn't want an extension with the team. So we ended up losing him in free agency, but I want to keep him around. So I'm going to send Steele, Fabry, and a fourth to Carolina so we can bring him back. I also want to dump Steele and Fabry's contracts, but we would make one signing, which is going to be Riker Evans for $900K for 2 years. And then I'm going to make some more trades. I'm going to send Burakovsky to Columbus for 2 seconds, and then I'm going to package up those 2 second rounders along with a prospect and a third to Montreal for Cole Caulfield. So basically, this team's set for the next couple years. I do want to get a better right defenseman for our second line defensive pairing, but I don't think that's a massive concern right now. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate through 10 games, and maybe this time we can win 6 of the 10 games, but I highly doubt it. So we did the exact opposite of what I was hoping, winning only 4 in our first 10, so we're currently sitting at a 4-5-1 record. But over the next 16, things weren't that great either. A 9-6-1 record, and we're currently sitting at a 13-11-2 record. At the 50 game mark, this team's doing okay. A 27-18-5 record, we're 4th in the Pacific and 12th in the entire league. Sierra is currently leading the entire team in points with 28 goals and 25 assists for 53 points. Zegras is coming in second with 15 goals and 33 assists for 48 points, and Jamie Drysdale is going to round out the top 3 with 5 goals and 30 helpers for 35 points. Leading all defensemen is Drysdale, but we already knew that, and Kosa's picking up 24 wins with a 903 save percentage and a 269 goals against. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the trade deadline, and depending on how this team does will depend on how many trades we make. Over the next 12, this team dialed in going 9-1-2. So I am going to make one trade. I'm going to send Hampus Lindholm, 2 prospects and a third to the Islanders for Ryan Pollock. So after that move, our defense is looking good, but I still want to make a few moves in the offseason. And yes, I do realize I traded a left defenseman for a right defenseman, so I didn't really solve my problem, but Hampus Lindholm, he was starting to regress, so I had to get rid of him before he lost all value. Now it's time to simulate to the end of the season, and maybe this team can bounce back. And we did bounce back. We're finishing with a 49-26-7 record. We're 1st in the Pacific and 3rd in the entire league. Zach Sear is once again leading the team in points with 41 goals and 40 assists for 81 points. Trevor Zegras is coming in second with 30 goals and 49 assists for 79 points. And Jamie Drysdale, he's picking up 14 goals and 50 assists for 64 points. And as we know, Drysdale, he's leading the defense once again, while Kosa's picking up 44 wins with a 913 save percentage and a 239 goals against. This dude was elite this season. Leading all players in points is Mark Scheifele with 37 goals and 66 assists for 103 points. Coming in second is Shane Wright with 29 goals and 65 assists for 94 points, and Ryan O'Reilly's going to round out the top 3 with 31 goals and 62 assists for 93 points. Ivan Provorov is going to lead all defensemen with 14 goals and 59 assists for 73 points, and Kosa, he's leading the league in wins with 44, but we already knew that. And in the first round, we're taking on the Dallas Stars, and we're here for a revenge tour. Pekka Reinen's going to score the lone goal in game 1 while Kosa's picking up a shutout. The Ducks are going to have a massive game 2 where they're scoring 9 goals. In game 3, Kosa's going to pick up another shutout, and we're looking to sweep this team. However, Dallas would avoid elimination in game 4 with an OT winner, but the Ducks are going to pot 2 in the 3rd period of game 5 to reach the 2nd round. Heading into the 2nd round, we're going to be taking on the Los Angeles Kings. The Kings come out strong, stealing game 1 5-2, but Sierra's going to score an OT winner to even the series at 1 game apiece. McTavish is scoring another OT winner in game 3. In game 4, the Kings are going to tie the series with a 2-1 win. Pekka Rinne is going to score the Ducks' 3rd OT winner of the series and put the Kings on the brink of elimination. And in game 6, Maxime Comtois is going to pot an OT winner of his own, and they're off to the conference finals. In the conference finals, they're going to be matching up with the St. Louis Blues. Anaheim's going to score 5 straight to help them win game 1, but the Blues are going to even the series in a 2-1 win in game 2. But the Ducks are going to dominate game 3 with a 7-4 win. The Blues aren't backing down though, and they're going to even the series at 2 games each. In game 5, the former Montreal Canadiens are going to push St. Louis to the brink of elimination, but Taylor Radish is going to score an OT winner to force game 7. And in game 7, 4 straight goals are going to help the Ducks make it to the Stanley Cup Final. And in the Stanley Cup Final, we're going to be matching up against the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Leafs are going to take game 1 in a 5-4 victory, and they continue to roll in game 2, winning 6-2. The Leafs are going to have another dominant game, and they're putting us on the brink of elimination. Luckily, the Ducks would avoid the sweep with a 5-3 win in game 4 and would continue to avoid elimination in a 5-1 win in game 5. But in game 6, William Nylander is going to score the OT winner to win the Leafs the Stanley Cup. That was a tough one for us, but I know this team will be back. Leading the team in playoff scoring was Sierra, who's picking up 12 goals and 18 assists for 30 points. So it was a pretty successful playoff run for him. Too bad we couldn't get a Stanley Cup. Looking at the draft lottery results, Nashville's going to be getting the 1st overall pick. We didn't have too many picks in this draft, only having 3, but our best prospect ended up being a low elite potential left winger. Heading into the resign phase, it was the same thing as usual, signing all the important rookies and qualifying a bunch of RFAs. Then it came to extending contracts. Lunderstrom, $3.3 million per year for 3 years. Koltsov, $2.2 million per year for 3 years. Riker Evans, $1.75 million per year for 3 years. Gruel, $900K for 2 years. And then Dumont, $1 million per year for 3 years. So we're loading up the first line this season. I want to try something new. Hekarainen, Zegras, Sierra, I'm expecting big things from you guys. Looking at the defense, I could probably make some slight improvements, but honestly, we're looking pretty solid right now. And our goaltending, it's a fantastic duo here. And Makinen, he might be ready to take over in net. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate through the first 10 games, and hopefully this team doesn't suck like usual. And we were definitely a lot better this season with a 7-2-1 record to start the year. And over the next 15, this team looked great with a 10-5 record, and we're currently sitting at a 17-7-1 record. Through 50 games, this team's looking fantastic. A 32-13-5 record. We're first in the Pacific and second in the entire league. Pekka Rainen's leading the team right now in scoring with 18 goals and 21 assists for 39 points. Sierra's coming in second with 16 goals and 23 assists for 39 points. And Zegras, he's coming in third with 14 goals and 22 assists for 36 points. Drysdale's currently leading the defense in points with 9 goals and 26 assists for 35 points. And Makinen, he's got 22 wins with a .919 save percentage and a .222 goals against. I think we found our goaltender for the future. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the trade deadline, and then we'll make a few moves. So over the next 12, this team continued to look fantastic, going 9-2-1. So this move is going to be strictly for next season. I'm trading 2 first rounders and a second to Detroit for McKellar. He's an 85 overall with medium elite potential, and I think he can be a good piece for this team. And then I'm going to trade Rickard Rakell to Dallas for 2 thirds and a depth piece. I also want to dump off his contract before his trade value completely fell off the map. So when the season came to an end, we were looking fantastic. A 55-20-7 record. We're first in the Pacific and second overall in the entire league. Sierra led the team in points with 29 goals and 48 assists for 77 points. Mason McTavish is coming in second with 34 goals and 36 assists for 70 points. And Zegras is going to round out the top 3 with 28 goals and 41 assists for 69 points. Drysdale's leading the defense in points with 13 goals and 47 assists for 60 points. And Makinen's picking up 34 wins with a .914 save percentage and a .237 goals against. McDavid led the entire league in points with 57 goals and 54 assists for 111 points, but DeBrincat was actually tied with McDavid with 111 points as well, consisting of 48 goals and 63 assists. And Shane Wright's going to round out the top 3 with 21 goals and 77 assists for 98 points. Adam Fox is leading all defensemen in points with 12 goals and 57 assists for 69 points, while Mackenzie Blackwood's picking up 46 wins with a .918 save percentage and a .251 goals against. In the first round, we're going to be taking on the Vancouver Canucks. It was a dominant game 1 for the Ducks as they're coming out on top 8-1, and the momentum continued into game 2 as they're picking up a 5-3 win. The Canucks would avoid falling to a 3-0 deficit though, as they're picking up a 4-3 win. However, the Ducks would put the Canucks on the brink of elimination in the next game with a 5-3 win. And in game 5, the Ducks are coming out on top and we're off to the next round. And in the next round, we're going to be taking on the Edmonton Oilers. The Ducks are going to take game 1 in dominant fashion, winning 6-4, but Edmonton's going to even the series with a 4-2 win. The Oilers are going to make a last second push, but that isn't going to be enough, and the Ducks are taking game 3. However, Edmonton's taken over. They're going to dominate in game 4 with a 5-0 victory, and then they're going to take game 5, which is putting the Ducks on the brink of elimination. And Edmonton's going to win the 3rd straight game, winning game 6 as the Ducks fall in the second round. When the playoffs came to an end, the Chicago Blackhawks would go on to win the Cup over the Philadelphia Flyers. Once again, Sierra is going to be leading the team in playoff points as he's picking up 9 goals and 9 assists for 18 points. Taking a quick look at the draft lottery results, Columbus is going to be getting the first overall pick. We ended up having 5 picks in this upcoming draft, and our best prospect ended up being a medium elite potential goalie. The one thing I have to say is I'm pretty good at getting medium elite potential goalies, so I bet you guys weren't expecting this, but we're entering the Resign Phase, and I'm signing all the rookies and qualifying all the RFAs. I bet you didn't see that one coming. So McKellar, I'm going to give you $8.5 million per year for the next 7 years. Zegras, you're going to get $9.5 million per year for the next 8 years. Linden, $2.5 million per year for 3 years. Gruel, $900K for 3 years. And now we got to say goodbye to a fan favorite. Kosa, you've done amazing things to this team, but I'm going to package you up with a 3rd rounder to Buffalo for 2 seconds. Thank you for your time here, but Makinen's ready to take over, and it's his time now. And since it's his time, we also have to pay him. That's part of the reason why we traded you, because I have to give him $9.4 million per year for the next 8 years, and I really do not want to be paying about $17 million for 2 goaltenders. But we're not done yet. I'm going to package up a first and a prospect to Vegas for Artemi Panarin, and then I'm going to sign Stuart Skinner for $800K for 1 year, Quinn for $800K as well for 1 year, and then I'm going to send Cole Caulfield to Calgary for 2 thirds. The reason for this is I don't want to pay $5 million for a depth piece. But with all these picks we've acquired, I'm going to package up 2 seconds and 2/3 to Ottawa for Curtis, who has medium elite potential. So looking at this team, we have 3 incredible lines. The 4th line isn't going to get a ton of minutes, so I'm not too concerned about them. Our defense could probably use a bit of work, but I have faith in Makinen. He's our guy, and we're ready to win. And before the season starts, I'm going to extend Curtis to a 3-year deal worth $3.6 million per year. So now it's time to simulate 10 games into the season. I would really like to go 10-0 at some point in this video in the first 10 games, but I just don't think it's going to happen with this team. And it clearly didn't happen this season, as we're starting out the year 6-4. Over the next 15 though, we were fantastic, not even losing a game in regulation, as we go 11-0-4, so we're currently sitting at a 17-4-4 record. Through 50 games, this team's fantastic. That should be no surprise. A 35-10-5 record. We're first in the Pacific and first in the entire league. Zegras is leading the way with 18 goals and 26 assists for 44 points. Mason McTavish is coming in second with 15 goals and 26 assists for 41 points. And Sierra, 21 goals, 19 assists, 40 points. Keep doing your thing, my guy. Jamie Drysdale continues to lead the defense in points with 6 goals and 28 assists for 34 points, while Makinen's picking up 27 wins, a .917 save percentage, and a .236 goals against. It's time to simulate to the trade deadline, and honestly, looking at where this team is at, I don't plan on making a bunch of moves. Unless this team completely falls apart heading into the deadline, I think I'm going to stick with what we have. So over the next 14 games, we went 7-6-1, but I'm not concerned. I like where this team is, so I'm not making any trades. Now, we got to simulate to the end of the season, and hopefully we don't continue to fall apart. When the season came to an end, it should be no surprise. Once again, we're finishing first in the Pacific Division and first in the entire league with a 53-22-7 record. Zegras is leading the team in points with 30 goals and 46 assists for 76 points. Sierra is coming in second with 28 goals and 39 assists for 67 points, and Mason McTavish is rounding out the top 3 with 23 goals and 42 assists for 65 points. Drysdale led the defense once again in points with 9 goals and 42 assists for 51 points, and Makinen's picking up 43 wins with a .909 save percentage and a .260 goals against. David Pastrnak's going to lead all players in points with 48 goals and 56 assists for 104 points. Shane Wright's coming in second, not too far behind, with 103 points consisting of 35 goals and 68 assists, while Elias Lindholm's coming in third with 20 goals and 75 assists for 95 points. Cale Makar is going to lead all defensemen in points with 9 goals and 62 assists for 71 points, while Elvis Merzlikins picking up 44 wins with a .915 save percentage and a .252 goals against. Taking a look at the playoff picture, we're going to be taking on the Seattle Kraken in the first round. Game 1 isn't going to be a concern for the Ducks, as we're taking it 3-1. In Game 2, the auto-generated players are going to dominate for us, as we're winning 5-2. Sierra is going to pot an OT winner in Game 3, but Seattle's going to avoid elimination in Game 4 with a 6-3 win. Seattle would survive another day after picking up a 2-1 win in Game 5, but McKellar would close it out in Game 6 with an OT winner. Heading into the second round, we're going to be taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. The Knights are going to take Game 1 in a 3-1 win, but the Ducks are going to even the series in Game 2 with a 4-1 win themselves. Vegas would win a tight one in Game 3, but 3 unanswered from the Ducks is going to even the series in a 4-2 win in Game 4. 3 first period goals would be too much to overcome, and Vegas is put onto the brink of elimination, and the Ducks are going to close the series out with a 5-3 win in Game 6. Heading into the conference finals, we're going to be matched up against the Calgary Flames, and we're going to be meeting up with an old teammate of ours. In Game 1, Cole Caulfield's going to pot 2 goals, which is going to help the Flames take Game 1. And in Game 2, 3 unanswered from the Flames is going to put them up 2-0. Luckily, the Ducks would bounce back in Game 3, winning 4-3. But Calgary would have another big game, which puts them 1 game away from the Stanley Cup. And in Game 5, an OT winner from Wallstrom would close out the series. After taking us down in 5, the Flames would end up getting swept by the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Stanley Cup Final. Leading the team once again in playoff scoring is Sierra, who's picking up 7 goals and 10 assists for 17 points. Taking a look at the draft lottery results, Buffalo's going to jump from 8-1, and they're getting the first overall pick. We had 6 picks in this draft, and our most notable prospects were a medium elite left winger and a medium elite goaltender. So heading into the Resign Phase, I decided not to sign any rookies and not qualify any RFAs. Nah, I'm just kidding. Same thing as usual. Sign the rookies, qualify RFAs. We're not changing it up here. Looking at extensions, Ledeen's going to get $1.3 million per year for 2 years. Suzuki's going to get $6.6 million per year for 3 years. And now it's time to enter free agency. And I'm going to give Ty Smith $6.4 million per year for 4 years. And then Falk $1 million per year for 2 years. And if you recognize Falk, that's because I traded him earlier in this video after drafting him in the very first season. How the tables have turned. And then I'm going to end up trading Ryan Pollock in a third to the Sharks Ducks for 2 third-rounders and Gosher, another former draft pick of ours. So before free agency wraps up, I'm going to sign Johansson for $800K for 1 year and then trade a third and a sixth for Cahoon. So with 2 years left, we're running out of time to win another cup. We just need to win when it matters most. And Makinen, keep up the great work. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate 10 games into the season, and let's try to go 10-0. It wasn't 10-0, but it was still fantastic as we're going 8-2-0. But over the next 15, it was the opposite of great. We went 5-8-2, and we're sitting at a 13-10-2 record. So we got to make some changes. I'm going to go ahead and trade a third and 2 prospects to Arizona for Macias, but he's not going to play for us this season. This move is for next year. And then I'm going to trade Nicholson to Arizona for Gunther. Now that we've got Gunther, it's time to take over. And that's exactly what we did. Over the next 25 games, this team went 21-2-2. We have a 34-12-4 record. We're first in the Pacific and first in the entire league. This is our year. Sierra's leading the team right now with 10 goals and 40 assists for 50 points. Mikaya's coming in second with 27 goals and 20 assists for 47 points. And Pekka Rinen's rounding out the top 3 with 20 goals and 24 assists for 44 points. Jamie Drysdale continues to lead the defense with 10 goals and 19 assists for 29 points. And Makinen's picked up 24 wins with a 924 save percentage and a 222 goals against. So now I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the trade deadline, and honestly, don't be surprised if I don't make any trades because we're looking fantastic. Over the next 13 games, we went 9-1-3, so I'm not making any moves. Since acquiring Gunther, this team's been fantastic and I don't want to mess anything up. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate to the end of the season, and you already know what's going to happen. We're going to finish first in the league. Mark my words. And when the season came to an end, we're finishing with a 54-20-8 record. We're first in the Pacific and first in the entire league once again. Sierra's leading the team in points with 19 goals and 60 assists for 78 points. Pekka Rinen's coming in second with 37 goals and 40 assists for 77 points. And Makala's picking up 42 goals and 28 assists for 70 points. Jiricek's going to lead the defenseman in points with 8 goals and 40 assists for 48 points, while Makinen's picking up 38 wins with a 915 save percentage and a 238 goals against. Nathan MacKinnon's going to lead all players in points with 107, consisting of 49 goals and 58 assists. McDavid's coming in second with 39 goals and 65 assists for 104 points, and Leon Draisaitl's coming in third with 35 goals and 65 assists for 104 points. Adam Fox is going to lead all defensemen in points with 10 goals and 68 assists for 78 points, and Luukkonen's picking up 43 wins with a 915 save percentage and a 268 goals against. In the first round, we're going to be taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. Anaheim's going to come out hot in game 1, and they're taking it 3-1. A 4-goal third period is going to lead to a 7-3 win, and a 5-4 win in game 3 is going to put the Blackhawks on the brink of elimination. And in game 4, a 6-3 win is going to push the Ducks past the Blackhawks as they complete the sweep. In the second round, we're going to be taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas is going to take game 1 with an OT winner, and 4 straight goals is going to lead to a 2-0 series lead for Vegas. The Ducks are going to avoid falling to a 3-0 deficit though with a 5-3 win, and Anaheim's even going to even the series up with a 3-0 win in game 4. But Vegas is going to put the Ducks on the brink of elimination with a 3-1 win in game 5. Luckily, Jamie Drysdale is going to be the hero as he's forcing game 7 with 2 goals, including an OT winner. Sadly, in game 7, Vegas is going to come out on top in a 5-2 win. Vegas would end up going on to the Stanley Cup Final, but they would fall to the Toronto Maple Leafs in 6 games. Nick Suzuki led the entire team in points with 3 goals and 10 assists for 13 points. Looking at the draft lottery results, Arizona is going to jump from 6 to 1. So we would have 5 picks in this draft. A lot of them were goaltenders. I'm going to tell you that right now. I ended up drafting a medium elite potential goalie, trading a future third in the 124th overall pick for the 78th pick, and then traded a prospect, a future 5th, and the 220th overall pick for the 115th overall and the 112th overall. With those picks, we ended up drafting another medium elite potential goalie, and then on top of that medium elite potential goalie, another medium elite potential goalie, and then a low elite potential left winger. Yeah, we got some good picks here. And all those goaltenders we drafted, all of them are getting traded. Every last one of them. So I'm going to trade a prospect to St. Louis for Tuukka Rainen and a 5th rounder. I'm going to sign McCarris for $5.2 million per year for 3 years. Casey Middlestad's coming here for $800K for 1 year. So our forward core is looking elite. We're best in the league without a doubt. Our defense is looking strong, but I do want to improve the right side a bit. And then Makinen, you can continue to lead the way. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate 10 games and let's win a championship. We got 1 year left. We need a cup. So through the first 10 games, this team's looking elite with a 9-1 record. Over the next 15, we continue to roll, going 11-3-1. So we're currently sitting at a 24-1 record. Through 50 games, we're looking fantastic. A 33-13-4 record. We're first in the Pacific and first in the league. Pekka Rinen's leading the team with 23 goals and 29 assists for 52 points. McKellar's coming in second with 18 goals and 24 assists for 42 points. And Trevor Zegras is going to round out the top 3 with 14 goals and 28 assists for 42 points. Jamie Drysdale's currently leading all defensemen with 7 goals and 26 assists for 33 points, while McKinnon's picked up 27 wins with a .907 save percentage and a .259 goals against. So it's time to simulate to the trade deadline, and all those goaltenders that I drafted, they're getting traded at the deadline, and we're making big moves. So over the next 14 games, this team was mid with a 7-7 record. Now it's time to trade everyone. So I'm going to trade a prospect for a second and a third, another prospect for a second and a fourth, and then another prospect for a third and a first. Then I'm going to package up Linden, Carolina's first, Carolina's second, and Tampa's second and Tampa's fourth to Carolina for Labrie. This dude's going to be elite for our defense. He's adding strength there. Our right side might be the same, but with the overall boost, I think we should be fine. Now it's time to simulate to the end of the season and win ourselves another Stanley Cup. So when the season came to an end, we finished with a 50-27-5 record. We're first in the Pacific, but fourth in the entire league. Pekka Rainen's leading the way with 34 goals and 50 assists for 84 points. McKellar's coming in second with 35 goals and 38 assists for 73 points. And McTavish is going to round out the top 3 with 19 goals and 44 assists for 63 points. Jiricek's going to lead all defensemen in points with 15 goals and 42 assists for 57 points, while McKinnon's picking up 43 wins with a .912 save percentage and a .249 goals against. Jack Eichel's going to lead all players in points with 55 goals and 52 assists for 107 points. Shane Wright's coming in second with 28 goals and 78 assists for 106 points, and Connor McDavid's picking up 40 goals and 62 assists for 102 points to round out the top 3. Quint Hughes is going to lead all defensemen in points with 8 goals and 57 assists for 65 points, and McKinnon, we already know what his stats were, and he's leading all goaltenders in wins. So in the first round, we're going to be taking on the Seattle Kraken. McKinnon's going to lead the way, picking up a shutout in game 1. But Seattle's stealing game 2 with 3 unanswered in the third period. Luckily, the Ducks are going to bounce back in game 3 as they take a 2-1 series lead. However, Seattle would have a massive game 4, and they're winning 5-2 to even up the series. And with only seconds left in game 5, Yamamoto would score for Seattle and put the Ducks on the brink of elimination in the opening round. And in game 6, Seattle's coming out on top 7-5, and the dreams of another Stanley Cup are finished. So thank you all for watching. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. And I mean, if you made it all the way to the end of this video and you haven't subscribed, I don't know what you're doing. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.